And again, it's Undying showing how flexible they want to be. And if this is an IO slider lane, that is a lane that no safe laner in the game wants to walk to. You never want to have to deal with that. Only heroes I can maybe think of is maybe you would risk a Drow Ranger. But again, you're going to have this core Tiny. You're going to have this relocate. They can't risk it. So they'll pick Medusa instead. But now, again, you're picking these comfort heroes. You have a Medusa Grimstroke lane. You have a... Or you're going to force your Grimstroke to now be 4, which isn't the worst, but again, I feel like the cut, their lineup isn't sort of copying Undying, is where Undying, all those heroes work together. They're very in unison, where as I feel like the cut, they're going to continue to sort of struggle. And again, it's a hard game. It's going to be a really hard game, especially with Undying having last pick.
Especially with that Medusa selection. This is not a hero, with obviously some exceptions, but this is not a hero that gets herself going anytime soon. She has a significantly sort of later timing window than pretty much anybody on the Undying side, so sure. If the cut can find that farm, if they can turn that Medusa into that sort of mid to late game sort of carry option that they want, then there is going to be some benefit to that, or quite a bit of benefit, but do they survive to that point in the first place? Undying played a very sort of up-tempo, faster, more aggressive pace in Game 1. The cut were not able to deal with it. It feels like, to a certain extent, they could be in a similar position here, trying to create space for the Medusa while Undying just sort of run at them.
Well, and Undying, again, they've covered all of their bases. They've got good Roche, they've got good initiation, they have the save, and we spoke about it for just a moment, but Morph versus Medusa is what some teams actually prefer. They like having that matchup because Morphling really doesn't care about Stone Gaze and can sort of eke in and out of fights as much as he wants, and once he gets that lifesteal, you can really go toe-to-toe with the Medusa, more or less. The bright side for the cut is the Medusa nowadays does have a slightly earlier timing now that you aren't completely focused on the Scotty. You'll still probably get a Scotty pretty much every game you can, but instead you get that Ags after Manta, and then you can sort of start making plays around the map, or at least showing up to some of these fights. And that's where Undying might need to be a little bit careful, but a part of me also thinks you're going to get tossed into 4 heroes, you're going to get amped, you're going to get stunned up, and if you have to ulti, they're going to run away. They've got a very good lineup at disengaging, and they need something that's going to keep them there. They need a big hero, but I don't know if there's anything left in the pool for Wage. Yeah, Puck would have been great, but it's just not there. Undying, they're really sort of covering all of their bases at this point.
Yeah, no Puck available. The cut, meanwhile, banning out some potential mid laners as well, both the Pugna and the Templar Assassin being taken away. So obviously, there's still options in the pool, but if you're looking for that mid choice for the cut, it feels like obviously they're going to get something, but it's not going to feel great, I guess is the phrase that I would want to use for lack of a better term. Good but not great sort of seems to be the issue for them. That's what kind of happened in Game 1 as well. Their lineup looked kind of wobbly as the Bat will be banned. Okay.
And I was thinking it was either going to be Bat Rider or possibly the Sand King ban. Now that, again, the Tiny, it could be flexible. You could try to move it around. Dupe, who does know how to play Wisp, you could make it a 4 Tiny. But at this point, I think Undying, they've got all the power to do whatever they want. And the cut, they could pick Sand King mid right now, try to get some sort of active hero because they need a very active hero on that role. Flash, okay. It can come to lanes, but again, it's sort of a farmy hero, and that's what all of the other cores on that team already wants to do. So if they lose anything in the lanes, they're going to get forced into their base. It's going to be a really hard game.
You hit the nail on the head there. Can the Leshrac rotate? Sure, he can. Is he a hero who does it particularly well? Kind of middle of the road there. So strong farming hero, I suppose. There is a lot of magic damage to complement the theoretical physical damage coming out from the Medusa, but I don't know. Especially if Undying do get aggressive early, it just feels like you said, if they give up anything in the lanes, this is going to get just very painful for them.
Oh, and not just that, but with the way that their lineup has sort of evolved, you don't have any save on your supports. You pick this Lesh, it's a hero almost similar to Death Prophet, where you want to stand up in front, you want to get these towers early, you want to put yourself at risk, and then have people to stand behind you. But now the shield is the Timber Saw. They need to put everything behind this Timber, and all of the pressure is going to be on Tingle King to sort of find a way into the game. And with the Razor, I mean, they're just all in on physical damage on Undying, and it just feels dominating. I really don't know what's going to happen. And yeah, they're just swapping everything around, just having pure aspect.
Yeah, that's well, that's going to be a tough one for them to try and deal with, but they've got to try, but it doesn't look great. As you said, I think Undying have put themselves in a pretty fantastic position here.
And it is a little bit atypical. They wanted to find a hero that I guess they didn't want Saberlight to necessarily stay on the slider. And if they were swapping things around, they would have forced Brow off of the Tiny. But again, you see the matchup. You get to see that you're versus Leshrac now. Brow knows that he's going to be able to farm. He's going to be able to get a good blink timing. And we've seen in pretty much every single region how much, not pressure, but how much strength the mid Tiny provides, where that's the one hero in the game that it feels like you can really 1v9. You can really pull all of your lanes out of the dust if they are failing. But again, with Undying, just being the better team, Cut's got their work paid out for them. They really need to get something going, get anything going. But it's going to be a long game if I think the Cut have a chance in this one.
Yeah, they are going to have to turn this one into a basically war of attrition at a certain point, it feels like. Scourge, with the Medusa, you can never counter out, right? It's pretty much one of, if not the most popular sort of carry options right now for a reason, but we are in for either a very long match for the Cut to try and get victory, or in Undying's case, they're hoping to sort of get things done maybe a little bit faster. Try and get in with that early aggression and repeat that Game 1 victory. As we do get things underway, Game 2 getting started here, and well, we'll see exactly what it is that the Cut will be able to put together as we are taking a look at some of the laning matchups here. Yeah, looking pretty standard. Tomato's going to make his way down bot. Bryle is going that way for now, but that's just for the runes. He should be rotating his way mid soon enough. And all for the Cut. Standard stuff on their side as well. So no shenanigans, no sort of early smoke plays, anything along those lines.
And the only thing that could be sort of a hiccup in the draft is you do force the Slardar to be a 4. It's not the best hero for this. It does have a lot of armor. You are sort of able to run at this double ranged lane, but at the same time, your Pingu is forced to be 5. Your Grimstroke, it's a Grimstroke Medusa lane. You do have really good nuke coming out from the Stroke of Fate and the Snakes, but aside from that, again, you're going to be drawing a lane where you're going to get linked up. You're going to get a lot of spells cast on you if you're Saberlight and Moon Meander, but I don't really think you care all too much because they have this really strong 15-minute timing where maybe you have Boots of Travel, maybe you have a Medallion on the Razor, you're going to have Blink Dagger on Bryle, and you're just going to start running at people. And if Wage isn't the monster, he can't be a hero similar to what Bryle was in the previous game, it's going to be hard because Bryle is going to try and draw this lane this time around. So Wage will have a little bit more space, but if he doesn't get away with as much as he can, it's going to feel like a crushing game again.
So, Bounty Runes coming up here. Again, we mentioned before, no real funny business. It's just going to be a 2-2 split, but we do get the laning stage underway now, and we'll see... Well, first and foremost, how this top lane plays out. You're sort of talking about it a little bit. Saberlight and Moon Meander are going to do their best to generally just be as annoying as humanly possible up against this Medusa, and we'll have to see not just how well Scourge can sort of farm, but playing into that, just how well Pingu is able to defend his teammate here, as they are going to sort of start clashing right away.
And Pingu, he really just needs to play solidly, needs to keep his wave in a good spot. If the wave ever gets out of hand and they get manipulated to be pushed down over to this sort of area where they could maybe pull it into the large camp, then this Medusa can't farm, and I don't think Scourge is going to take the bait. He's not going to put himself in danger because really he steps out of line, he's going to get linked up, he's going to take a lot of damage, and then you're out for 2 waves. There's not much you can do, and as a Medusa, it feels like, again, he's got a sort of lane that he can't win on paper, so it's really up to Pingu at this point.
The Moon Meander just charging his way in there does take a Mystic Snake to the face, but well, just a crush. It's not going to lead into anything. It's just a bit of a sort of hand check there. Letting Scourge know he's still hanging out. Not going to let the Medusa farm freely. But, okay. Well, Moon Meander maybe taking a little bit more damage than I'd anticipated, but he came to lane with the full stack of Tango, so he should be just fine. But this is the way he has to play. If he sort of gets passive here, then really he doesn't serve much of a purpose in this lane. So, as risky as it may be.
When you have sort of an atypical hero on that position, but again, they have to nuke out the wave. They need to sort of push it into them to get any semblance of farm, and
Pingu.
Pingu is...
Not going to
Yep.
make it out. Good bash in there from Moonmeander. Times it up well. Saberlight comes in with the bonus damage from that level 1 Link. And that is your first bullet going Undying's way. That's pretty much exactly how you drew it up.
And if anything, it's just how good and how small the advantages go in these lanes and how fast these really good players notice it. That was just simply level 2. They got level 2 before you because Saberlight has 3 denies. They get the punishment. And is Moon going to get punished here?
I don't think it's going to hit. He's
Nope.
just out of range. Nice little speedy maneuver there from the Slaughter. Doesn't even have the sprint, so he was just able to sort of get himself into that tree line, and you admire the ambition from Pingu. He thought he had an opportunity, and he's maybe an inch or two away from getting it, but not able to make that happen. Meanwhile, down bot, Tingle King gonna lose his courier there, takes a fair bit of damage himself. Level 1 reactive armor is gonna keep him alive, but certainly doesn't allow him to win that fight by any means.
And Giant, he's been doing a really good job. They've been amassing these creeps for quite a while. If Tingle King can get even a majority of these last hits, he's going to be very happy. But again, Tomato, really untouched. There's not much they can do until they get a few more levels, and then it gets a little bit scarier. But Tingle King, again, you're playing Timbersaw. You just want to get your timing. You want to sit in front of your heroes. It's if anything, he's fine with however his lane is going to go. But again, giving a player like Tomato, we see how directed the bans are for a reason. If they give Tomato too much of a game, I can't imagine the cut are going to feel too good coming into that 25-30 minute mark.
Yeah, the man knows what he's about. Tomato, very much capable of just straight up taking a game over. We saw that a little bit in game number 1, 10-0 on that Ursa in the first match. So if you're the cut, you really can't afford to let him go, but as of right now, they're not doing a whole lot to slow him down. 18-1, 19-1 now in terms of the last hit, so the Timbersaw is at least keeping pace with him. That's going to be really, I guess, the best you could hope for Tingle, as you're not going to do much to the Morphling right now.
No, it's really just about that level 6 timing where maybe you can get a little bit more aggressive on the morph, but with Dubu keeping him relatively full HP the entire time, it's just a really hard matchup to do, and that's why we keep on seeing Giant make the rotation to mid, trying to at least secure wage something, scout out, see if there are any stacks or anything going on. But again, being on this Nyx Assassin, it feels again that they were sort of meeting Undying on their game plan, where I don't know how much this Nyx is really going to be able to get done in this game, and we'll really have to see. He really has to pull something out of his hat at this point.
Ryle, though, may want to be careful in the middle lane. Oh, okay, there's your careful. Giant not quite able to pull the trigger fast enough. Ryle will simply toss him away, and that was not a very impressive gank attempt. A little bit faster on the draw there for the Tiniest. Giant just has to scurry his way back. Top, we got the Grimstroke being taken down. Scourge.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Is he dead too? Yes, he is. Oh boy, Saberlight just getting it done there. Level 2 on the Static Link now. Gets him the extra damage, and that's going to be maybe not an easy double kill, but it didn't look like it took a whole lot of effort on his part. Moonmeander, though, very nearly dies for it, so the support taking the brunt of the damage on that one, but that's what you want. You get Saberlight 2 kills, and you shut down the Medusa.
And if anything, it's just super clean from Moon. He knows he doesn't need the bash to kill off Tengu, so immediately changes targets to Scourge, and again, they're just playing to the limit of these heroes, and as soon as they nuke out the wave, we see Scourge, he gets 3 last hits, he pushes in his wave. Saberlight is still just waiting to deny as much as he can, but the creep wave marches away from the Medusa's tower, and it's incredibly hard for him to farm when that happens. And
Wage is going to give this a go. In with the Inkswell stun. They've locked Saberlight down. The follow-up is there from the Split Earth, and they're going to leave it for Scourge. There we go. As well. It takes him a couple more shots than he had originally anticipated, with that damage being sapped away, but Scourge is going to get a little bit of revenge. Nice rotation in from the cut. The problem is, Giant's in trouble in the middle lane. He was just trying to soak up some experience while his teammate rotated away, and now he may end up paying for it. But Wage is back in. He's going to TP his way forward, and Giant's actually going to live. Nice play from the Leshrac, getting back in time to bail his teammate out, but he may still want to be careful here. He's going to fake out the Split Earth. Didn't actually go for it. That is going to be enough to keep Ryle away.
The tree for Giant. I think otherwise Giant would have definitely been dead, but now the cut, they're getting a few more moves under their belts. They're getting a little bit more done. And now you see Tingle King, he's level 6 while Tomato's level 4, and this is their timing. This is when something needs to start going the cut's way, and it definitely is.
Here comes Giant as well, looking to sort of act as the trailer on this play. Tomato just going to have to dance under the tower. Go into max strength, and okay, he will be able to wait for himself out. So Tingle King,
top.
he thought about it. Doesn't go in entirely. Meanwhile, back up top, yep, Sturge in trouble again. Dubu makes his way over, but Giant, look at the
Nice
TP.
stun.
In with the stun onto 2. Moon Meander with a stun of his own, though. Going to be able to fall back, and that will allow Saberlight to keep the fight going. Oh, no, what? Moon Meander, that's ill-advised, as he will end up being taken down, but the trade is pretty much perfect. Saberlight picks up the triple kill, so yeah, Moon Meander could have lived, but at the end of the day, he gets everything his team wanted, and now they get another Wage taken down in the river. Bryle in with the Avalanche Toss combo, into the Tree Toss at the end, and they're starting to clean this one up. Just when you were saying the cut were trying to sort of get something going for themselves, they lose 4 heroes across the map, and any momentum is gone, as I believe Tomato actually just denied... Yeah, he did. He denied the Tier 1 tower bot as well. That's brutal.
And if anything, it's just how clean the top lane has been, and they're not killing these heroes during the static link duration. It's always afterwards, so I'm surprised that Wage isn't keeping himself in higher mana, in higher spirits, to be able to make that easy rotation, as he's the hero that needs to be coming. He's the hero that needs to punish the fact that Tiny's just farming, but...
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Giant.
this is just hard.
This is looking a bit like game 1 for Giant. He was just getting picked off repeatedly in that match as well, and Bryle and Moonmeander don't really feel like showing him any mercy this time around. Another kill going their way. Meanwhile, up top, Saberlight and Dubu trying to put some damage onto the tier 1. Not going to be able to get it, but now Tingle King and Wage, they're in here. They want the fight. They missed the stun. Dubu, though, still going to get slowed up there by the lightning, and he will be taken down, but that gives Saberlight the time he needs to TP out. That one felt like it was a longer TP than usual, but we'll be able to make it away. Jumps mid, where Bryle's trying to go in onto Giant, but the Nyx Assassin this time is not going to get himself caught out. Falls back successfully. Pingu even hits him up with the Inkswell Sun just to make sure he was going to be able to make it away, but maybe he won't after all. Moon Meander's going in, looking for the sprint into the crush. Giant in some trouble. The stun's coming back up, but he may be dead by the time he gets a chance to throw it out. No, he will deploy that Impale, but Moon Meander still going in for the body blocks, and the toss will get the job done. Saberlight, though, yeah, what are you doing here? That's not a place you want to be. Didn't realize Wage was into the fight until it was too late. He will be taken down. Now Wage wants even more. Pulse Nova going to work. Moon Meander taken down. And Undying with honestly a bit of a mistake. The initial fight looked pretty good for them, but they stick around. They linger a bit too long. They bring in heroes who at that point weren't 100% necessary for the fight, and they do end up getting punished for it.
And if anything, just perfect. They had the ward Pingu, he had the knowledge. They took that fight with full knowledge, what was expended, what they still had, and they get something going for them. And the cut, those issues, those mistakes, they're not going to happen a lot with Undying. So every single time they do see those opportunities, they really need to take them in stride. And if anything, Tingle King is the one having sort of a rough time now, as you did claim that bot tower, you did get it denied in front of you, but you need to continue to find pressure, and you saw him walk in between top and mid a little bit there, because right now he needs to figure out what he needs to do. He needs to find sort of the heroes to combo with, and you've been getting a lot of levels on Giant on the Nyx Assassin mid, but again, I don't think he's the hero that they need to make plays. It all falls back to Wage, and we'll see if they smoke up mid, they try to make some play, because I think they really do need to get something going, because the advent of this Blink Dagger on Tiny, I mean it's coming. It's going to be an 11-minute Blink Dagger. It's got quite the crazy timing right now.
Yeah, Bryle looking pretty good here, but before he actually gets that Blink, there could be a bit of an engagement. Moon Meander's kind of meandering his way over, pardon the pun, but not going to actually go all the way in there. Wage is a little bit too intimidating, so instead, they'll look for Tingle King, who is currently alone in the top lane. That toss gets Tomato all the way in, and the Timber stunned up by quite a bit there, as Moon Meander comes in for the follow-up lockdown, and that's just too much for him to handle. I mean, Tingle's tanky, but not 4 heroes coming at you at the same time at 10 minutes tanky.
Well, and that's the issue. That's not even with the Blink Dagger on Tiny, and with the amplification damage on the Slardar. The play just gets easier and easier to make, and they kill him on the carts of Giant's.
Tried for the Impale, he whiffs it, hits neither Saberlight nor Dubu, and the TP out at that point a little overly optimistic. He was not making it out of that one. Saberlight is able to find that pickoff, and it's going to keep on dying on the offensive. Bryle and Moon Meander now smoking up into their opponent's jungle, and they will run right into Wage. Can they actually track him down? Bryle's got the blink. There it is. Blinks in, Avalanche into the toss, into the crush, and there's no way. Wage will be taken down. Tingle, what can he really do here? He is going to be able to get in there with the Whirling Death. That's a nice bit of damage, but I don't think he has enough to really commit for this fight, and he doesn't realize that Dubu is actually still here. And so too is Saberlight. This could turn into a bit of a disaster. He's going to get hit up by the Avalanche into the toss. Slithering Crush will be there as well, and Tingle is going to be taken down.
And now your strongest hero has died twice just because of the rotations. It's good space for Scourge, but now, and again before, you kill him on the cart wave, so you don't have that that's what you would sit behind before. You'd have this huge siege creep that you could just sit in front of. You've got 24 armor, you feel great, but now the Blink Dagger, the Amplify damage, the Corrosive Haze, they just do too much damage for Tingle, and now he's almost needs to respec. He needs to re-realize where he's standing in this match, and they could get a cheeky play mid, but this is so risky. They don't want to engage on bad terms.
And at this point, the IO is just holding that relocate, so you're not even guaranteed to get onto that first target, as what is going on here, Pingu?
Tomato.
Pingu getting jumped in on in the river. Tomato jumped at the same time. Pingu will be taken down. Tomato falls as well. Did somehow manage to catch both of those, but Tomato taken down. That's probably the single biggest kill they could have gotten at the moment. Maybe not net worth-wise, but in terms of the over... Uh-oh. Yeah, that's a good point. They've got to make their escape now as well. Giant. Oh, man.
TP, 30 seconds. Oh, no. Wage has caught himself out. He
Here comes
TP'd mid to get that smoke play.
Relocate coming in as well. They're going to look for this one, and Wage...
Yeah, he's fighting.
Where do you go? Last stand coming in here for the Leshrac. Got to admire that. He's just going to fight it out, but this is not a fight that he's going to win. Didn't have any option.
It's a great idea. They were in a little bit over their heads, though. They did catch Tomato morphing Agi. That was the only reason they got anything sort of going in their direction, but you don't have TP. You TP to your waves. You're trying to play fast. You're trying to meet Undying's pace, and even though it's only a 1k gold lead, no, dies again.
Okay, able to get himself away, though, so for now, we're all good, but the loss of that tower is going to hurt them a little bit more. The tier 1 taken mid, the tier 1 was taken away top as well, so now that north side jungle, not all that safe. Very much accessible for Undying, which is bad news because they're still trying to get this Medusa going. Scourge has really not factored much into this game. He's been playing basically PvE to this point, but I mean, where can he farm now? You see him sort of shading more towards the south now that those towers have been taken.
And again, we see Brow pinging out exactly where they think that the Medusa is because they make the read on the map. They sort of have a great general idea of what's going on at all times. It's just that experience in Scourge. Oh, you have to ult.
Oh no,
you have
Scourge.
to run away.
He's going to pop the ult, and that will be enough. But yeah, that's obviously not ideal circumstances, but the alternative is death. So he's going to pop that ult and try to fall back. That's honestly just a relatively simple move from Saberlight and Dubu. They don't have to commit too much for that. They get in there, they create a little bit of...
Ooh, Giant.
What in the world? Giant. Okay. Going in for that kill. He is obviously going to end up dying for... Ooh. Maybe not.
I mean,
Can he make the great escape?
For it, but Giant God, he got Tomato again. Tomato's just had his finger on the D key. He's been morphing Agi for the entire time he's been top, and he gets punished for it. I think it was just Giant plus the Thunder High. They just clapped him. I don't know.
Giant had his dancing shoes on there, but Bryle eventually able to run him down for the kill. But you take that trade every single time. That's, as you said, a solo kill onto Tomato, and the Morphling just a little bit... I want to say greedy, really. I mean, look at his HP right now. On Max Agi, he's at 460. So, I mean, yeah, you want the efficiency, but you got to watch out for that Nyx Assassin. We do see the Sentry Ward, though, now being thrown down. So, Tomato not going to fall for that one again, but up in the top lane, Wage... Well, not going to be able to keep himself safe as Dubu and Saberlight relocate in, and they will find themselves that kill.
Well, if anything now, Tomato, he's got the Sentry Ward. If that's the one thing that...
Uh-oh, Scourge?
Scourge?
No ult this time around. It's back up in a few seconds, but is Saberlight really going to die? No. Okay. Wanted maybe an extra second or two for that static link, but he's not going to fully die for that one, which is probably a good idea considering just how many heroes are here. But, no. Saberlight thrown up in the air there by the Yules, but Dubu's going to be able to hit him up with the tethers. Giant, though, is still chasing. They get the Inkswell stunned down, and they're going to be able to take this one. Double silence coming through thanks to the Soulbind. And Saberlight will be taken down first. Dubu now has to try and get himself away, but there's nothing to tether to, and he's just going to be taken down as well. Tingle King with the cut with really their first positive play in quite some time. It's going to be a little bit spoiled there with Giant being taken down, but 2 for 1, you take it.
And if anything, just really good spell usage coming out from the cut. They were really able to sort of re-engage at the exact moment they wanted to with the Yules coming out from Tingle King. He's going a little bit crazy right now, but also just catching Bryo on the other side of the map. And again, it's the small mistakes that you need to punish. It's the small mistakes that the best teams always consistently find to punish. So the cut, they just need to keep on finding those little wins, and maybe they're going to continue to sort of falter as their lineup does sort of have that built into it on Dime. They definitely feed on all their heroes, but...
Tingle, not in a good position right now. Hit up by the Avalanche Toss. That Static Link sapping away the damage, but Timberchain gets him away safely. He is very much beaten up, but he's still alive. Saberlight, though, going to hold on to that damage for a few extra seconds. So there's not going to be any sort of secondary engagement, but at this point, if you're the cut, you do not care about a second fight. You got everybody out of there safely. That is going to be the win for you.
And now you've got so many items coming out. BKB and 400 for Saberlight. Bryle has his Echo Saber. Moonmeander, Blink Dagger at the same time. Everything's syncing up, and that's when we're most likely going to see Undying force the Roshan. We might even see them move into that area now, and that's when the cut have an incredibly hard decision to make. Do you give them this Aegis that's going to most likely be the fall of most of your outer towers, or do you try and take the fight and risk it? And I can only imagine the cut are going to make the decision to risk it, because in this type of game, you need to take every single chance you can. And once they see these heroes moving out, both sides are just going to continue to farm. And when you're the better team, I don't think you can really go wrong farming in most situations.
The question is, at this point, is Scourge ready? No fight that the cut will take will be even remotely successful without the Medusa's involvement, and he's got the Manta, he's working his way towards the Ags, but if this is really a situation where Undying are going to push that pit, Scourge is not going to have that Ags even remotely close enough for this fight, so that is going to play into it.
Fast.
You mentioned
so fast, the Roche.
They do need to try and contest it, but the Medusa's not at full strength, but at this point, like you said, I think they might have to risk it. They're going to scan it out, though, so they do realize this is happening, but where is the movement? The sense of urgency just is not there at the moment, and they might just let this go.
And I think they're getting a little bit too comfy. They're being happy with the farm that they would have gotten otherwise. And this is going to be a farming Aegis. They're going to try and get something going, maybe try to get sort of a pick-off with Bryle. They're looking for the Medusa. They ping her out instantly. If they get Scourge after getting Aegis, this is the worst-case scenario for the cut.
And
oh, no,
here
it comes.
Bryle's gonna pick it up. Scourge is in some serious trouble here. Avalanche will start it off into the toss. Moonmeander coming in for the bashes and the crush as well, and Saberlight is gonna start sapping away the damage, but the Manta will get him away for now, but now Tomato's straight into the fight. Waveforming himself forward, but Spillerith is gonna lock him down. He is starting to morph towards strength, though, realizing this fight could end up going on for a little bit longer than he originally anticipated, as Saberlight will be tossed in. Bryle blinking forward as well, going for the Avalanche into the toss again. Wage taken down first, but if you're the cut, you did get the Medusa out of here, so that is an unfortunate loss, but you save your primary carry. But now Tingle, is he going to be able to get out? Yes, he is. Nice chain over the wall as well. Oh, God, Bryle. The man does not care. Blinks forward, goes in for the toss. Another Timber Chain, though, gets Tingle away to safety.
And Saberlight, I don't know if he wanted to... He thought he was a different hero or something. He just smashed every single button on his keyboard and popped BKB, but...
Yeah, we're... I was going to do him a solid and not mention that, but yeah, the BKB does come out there. Not entirely sure what was up, but not a massive...
They might punish him.
Okay, I was going to say not a massive deal, but it actually may be important here. So he is going to get hit up by the silence, but he is going to be able to get away. Meanwhile, Bryle down in the bottom lane and picking off Giant once again. Giant just... I mean, if you ever want to see a human punching bag, just look at that game for Giant. Between this one and game one, he just is always getting picked off.
And it's the power of the tiny, if anything. You just always have this hero that's able to sort of prey on you. And again, it's unfortunate that Giant ends up on one of those heroes that really feels like you can sort of get picked off or feed endlessly because you just don't have the HP straight up. Oh, Scourge needs to be careful. He loses mana. He can't TP.
He's popping the ult, but that ult actually drops him out of TP range. He is going to be able to pop the stick, though. That's going to give him enough. No, it's not. And he is in trouble once again. Saberlight coming in with that damage steal, and Bryle's there with the toss to finish it off again.
I mean, now Tomato even farmed the Medusa stack before.
Moon?
Oh, yeah,
didn't realize the sentry was there. He is going to pay for it, or maybe not. Saberlight's coming in. Relocated in with Dubu. Dubu's going to try and heal him up, but no. Not going to be enough. Moonmeander will be taken down. Dubu now dropping as well. This is turning into a bit of a rough one for Bryle. Able to blink in on the backline. Able to go in for the Avalanche into the toss. Wage will be taken down. They're going to try to get Pingu now as well, but at this point, Saberlight is starting to lose HP here. That Meteor Hammer actually not even going to be necessary. Saberlight will be taken down, but now Tomato into the fight. He's trying to push his way forward. Pingu dropping low. Pingu taken down, but Giant not going to be able to get away. Bryle blinking forward. Avalanche toss out once again. And what was looking like a solid fight initially turns into a much more messy affair. They do get 3 kills going their way, but they lose about 3, and if we include the Medusa's death, there are actually 4 heroes taken down across the map. So if you're the cut, you need that money, you need those kills, but you got to do it a bit more cleanly the next time around.
And if anything, it's a little bit sad because Undying, they try to save everyone, and if you're this far ahead, you know your team Undying. You're going to want to save everyone. You're going to try and make these cool plays, and they 100% got punished for it. But again, you have to wonder if Cut are running out of gas in the tank. If they're going to be able to keep this up, they're doing a lot better than the previous game, and there will be the timing. I think Scourge is what. Yeah, he has his Aghanim Scepter now. He will be able to fly it out, and then we will maybe see some of these plays going their way, but again, it's so difficult. Flamethrower online for Tingle.
Tried to push his way in. Bryle not having any of that, immediately tosses him away, but they are now aware. The flamethrower is online, as you said, so the damage output for this Timber does take a rather sizable step forward. This is a bit of a problem. Tingle dropping low, but the rest of the squad is right behind him. They're going to look to force the fight. Going in onto the Razor first. Saberlight dropping low. He will be taken down, and now they're looking to push on to even more. Dubu and Bryle dropping low. Tomato, though, into the middle of the fight. Morphs into the Nyx Assassin for that stun, but this is still turning into a bit of a problem. Saberlight down. Dubu dead as well. Tomato is just basically fighting by himself at this point, and he is actually not going to be able to take down Wage. Saves himself with the wand charges, but here comes Tomato. In again, looking for it, but the Impale will be there into the Meteor Hammer. Can they keep him locked down? Yes, Tomato still stunned up. Moon Meander, nice attempt there, but he is eventually going to back off, realizing he cannot actually hold that line by himself. But now Tomato is coming back up thanks to that Aegis, but where is the assistance? He may not need it. Waveforming himself away. Can he actually create the separation he needs, though? Stroke of Fate off the mark, but there's the Eul Scepter going to be actually coming in. The Impale to follow it up. Bryle, though, making his move, as you said, jumping in, going for the Avalanche. They'll take down the Leshrac first. What else can they get here? Giant starting to fall back. Scourge, though, popping really as much damage as he possibly can. They very nearly take Tomato down, not quite able to finish it off, but we do now see Undying on the run. Moon Meander making his retreat. Bryle, though, still sort of waiting on the sidelines, looking for an opportunity to push back in. And he's got it. Tingle King too low in HP. Now Saberlight getting involved as well, but he does get hit up by that Mystic Snake with the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. He is going to get locked down momentarily, and that's going to be enough. The Cut will back themselves away, and it looks like the fight will finally come to an end.
And it's really good spell usage coming out from the Cut. They're landing a lot of these stuns. That was the timing. That was the Aghanim Scepter reveal on Scourge, and you saw Bryle had to TP home. He got a little bit too low. He let himself eat a little bit too much damage, and not having the Aegis, he was really scared, but again, they got baited. And at almost the opposite side, they tried to get as many kills as possible. They tried to play as fast as they could because they felt good after that fight. And you lose two heroes after the fact, both being cores, it just doesn't feel good. And you have to wonder how many more fights they have left in them, because even though they're these scrappy engagements, we keep on seeing the gold lead go in Undying's favor, and they just keep translating objectives on the map into kills.
Giant. Bryle picking off Giant. I feel like I've said that probably a half dozen times now at least, but if you're Giant, I don't know. At this point, these deaths, sure, you could be avoiding them, but I suppose if you're looking for any sort of silver lining, it's a distraction, right? You're creating a little bit more space for the Medusa. Obviously, you would prefer to do that without having to kill yourself, but the Medusa's at least buying more time as we go. So he's dying, but he's dying for some sort of purpose.
And it's information, if anything. You're giving away the kill hero. The kill hero on the map is looking for you, and he's killing you, and he's getting you, which sucks, but he's not killing your Medusa, he's not killing your Leshrac, and we've seen Wage sort of hide in this bottom lane for a very long time, but this is a little bit crazy. Okay, he will just immediately TP. Can't really do that versus Io, so he understands the situation as well, but it's a big smoke up. If they catch Bryle, they don't know about his BKB, I don't think. This is an almost impossible kill. I don't know what they're really looking for with this smoke.
They're pushing without Wage at this point. He's sort of lagging behind a bit, so this feels... It's just kind of lacking, but at this point they're already committed to it. They may as well go forward. We'll see what they can get. Saberlight is going to be the target. They hit him up with that Spike Carapace, but do they have the damage? Okay, yeah, never mind. They absolutely have the damage. Saberlight and Moon Man are both taken down. Dude, but what are you doing here? Relocated himself in, trying to save a life. Instead, he's just going to end up losing his own.
And if anything, they felt like they could bait it out. They had the sentry. They were completely privy to what was going on. But it's the snake. He didn't see it coming. He didn't press his BKB.
Bryle? What you doing? That's not a good situation. BKB activated, though. Bryle will fall back. Obviously not the situation where you want to use that 9-second charge, but you've got 3 or 4 heroes running at your face, so no backup was there. Tomato was close, but that still would have ended up being probably a 2v4 at that stage, so better to pop the BKB and fall back, but we're starting to see some signs of life here from the Cut. Take a look at the...
a little bit of greed. Just a little bit greedy. They tried to save everyone. Again, they want to save everyone. They want to play like they're ahead, but they get punished.
It's not a massive surge just yet, looking at the looking at the graphs there, but just the earliest sort of inklings of a potential push as Wage. That's not a situation you want to be in. He is going to buy some time with the Yules. Now Scourge coming in as well, popping down that ult. They're going to look to make this happen. Moonmander's already dropping low. Giant in with the stun. The Meteor Hammer not necessary, but good instinct as they will be able to take down the first. But Saberlight on the back line did finish off Wage. So they do find that first kill on the Undying side, but this fight is still going. Bryle in with the sort of avalanche toss play. Giant will be taken down. Meanwhile, further to the north, Tingle King got to get himself locked down as well. Tomato and Dubu able to run him down. That means Scourge is basically fighting by himself. That's not a TP that's going to work out for you. Immediately canceled by Undying as they find the kill. Now Pingu. Oh boy. He tries to TP out as well, and it's pretty much the exact same result. Taken down almost immediately as Undying will complete the full 5-man wipe.
And on top, they immediately relocate. They force out the glyph, but Tomato's most likely just going to stay here. And they locked themselves in. They thought they could win after the Medusa had already committed her Stone Gaze. It was not the clean sort of pickoffs that they had that they were successful with before. And now, this is a crazy play from Wage. Does it work?
Oh, he gets the stun. Is it enough? Okay, never mind. Brow's just going to basically come in to break that one up.
And he's dead. He got... Oh, no.
If that were a 1v1, sure, maybe he gets it. But Brow comes in to sort of interfere with the duel, and Wage will be taken down. He's dead for 45. There is no buyback available on him at the moment. He's short about 600 gold. We're going to give this a go. Coming in with a Soulbind, connecting on the 2. Saberlight and Brow both in trouble, but the BKBs have been activated, so there's really not much in the way of follow-up beyond that initial Soulbind play. And now Moonmeander in with the stun. Tomato waveforms for it as well, and Tingle is now dead. 50 seconds on the sideline. His buyback, though, is available, so he could rejoin his teammates. At this point, though, I'm not really sure what kind of fight they'll actually be able to get. They may as well just kind of let this one go. It's already dropping.
And if anything, you did buy a little bit of time for Scourge to eventually respawn, but again, if anything, they can just reset. I think Roche will be respawning now, so all of the pressure is really on the cut. Undying can take this game in whatever turn they want to go. They already have pretty much all of the prerequisite items this game. There's really sort of just coming towards the end of this game at a lolly pace. There's not much that the cut can really do to fight up against them anymore. And now it's really up to Undying to be weather the ones if they die. If Undying decide to not press their buttons, they decide to get a little bit greedy, then they can still get punished. They are very low HP heroes, but now I feel like we're very, very quickly coming towards the end of this game. And they tried to smoke up with the DD, but again, Roche just dies. They find out a little bit too late after the fact.
Tomato able to get his hands on the Aegis. He is grabbing himself the shard as well. So, here we go. Has the upgrade there to the Adaptive Strike. Meanwhile, Giant able to find himself a kill over in that south side jungle. Moonmeander will be taken down. The problem is, they're going to end up paying for those kills. Pingu taken down first. Tomato now jumping in, going for the Stolen Impale onto Giant. And, well,
I want to fight this.
I don't know if this is a great idea. Pingu is going to buy back, though, so they're trying for it, but you're fighting into Aegis and Shees with not all of your lineup. This is not going to go well. Tomato jumping forward, going in for the stun onto 2. Pingu taken down a second time. Tomato starting to drop a little bit low himself, though, but even if he does die... Okay, never mind. He is perfectly fine. Dubu comes in to heal him up. The strength shifting is going to get him back up and into the fight. Dubu, though, not in the greatest of positions here. He tried to sort of push his way in, hoping to save his teammate, and technically speaking, he does, but it does cost him his own life. At this point, though, I don't think it's going to matter. They're just losing way too much on the side of the cut. Scourge is still alive here, but he is effectively fighting by himself. Wage will be taken down. Saberlight starting to drop a little bit low himself, though, but he's actually showing very little in the way of actual fear. He's just going to hold his ground. Moonmeander blinks in for the stun, and this one is looking like it's just about over. Tingle King will be taken down. Triple kill for Saberlight, and there's nothing left for the cut to fight with. They have one buyback on Wage, but that's not going to do them much good.
And I can't imagine the G's aren't coming soon here. We did see the cool play from Dubu. He was able to get the G's off on Tomato Wallstone. And Tomato, time and time again, he just kept on stunning more than one hero with Impale as Morphling. He kept on finding the stuns, and this is a big reason why this is the style hero. You're really able to play, do whatever you want, and I really don't see how the cut can win at this point. I think we're just going to be waiting for the Ancient to die, but it was a nice try. They had some cute rotations, they had some nice little plays where they were able to catch Undying genuinely off guard, where Dubu wasn't able to react fast enough, but you just have this looming threat of Tomato. There's a reason why they're banning 5, 6 of his heroes every single draft.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, they put up a better fight this time around compared to game 1, but you were sort of mentioning it a little bit. It feels like The Cut had good ideas, but the execution was just severely lacking. Although at this point, they're
Oh
not giving up just...
no.
Oh, man. Never mind. They're not just giving up just yet is what I was going to say, but it might just be time. Saberlight with the triple kill, closing this one out in style as the Ancient is dropping, but well, Scourge is still in there. Stone Gaze is activated. They're not going to stop until there's basically zeros on the clock, but now, yeah, that's a problem. There's the GG to be called. Scourge will not be dived, and that's going to be it. The Cut, as we said, a better fight this time around compared to Game 1, but at the end of the day, still just a one-sided matchup as Undying, well, they take the match and they take the series. A clean 2-0 sweep for them to kick off this group stage run.
Well, and getting camped in your fountain is definitely a good point to GG, I think, at that point. But again, they had good ideas. If anything, Undying, their draft was just a little bit above, I guess you could say above the cut again, where they were really got whatever they wanted. They were able to flip the script. Bryle got the matchup he wanted to, pretty much no matter what they were going to pick. That's why in that previous game you had to see Wage on what would have been Magnus, but ended up not being his hero. And I just think the experience really showed itself in this matchup, as well as maybe the slight change at 7.29D, making that Medusa feel a little bit weaker, where he didn't get the mana Mystic Snake mana talent up until level 20, and it really felt like the Ags, that was their timing. They were able to get that 2-3 man wipe top, and after that they weren't able to spiral anything into their favor. So fantastic play from Undying.
Looking every bit like the squad that we saw on the pro circuit, just shy of the mark to get themselves to that major stage, but they are certainly putting on a show here early on in this event. So with that, Undying take themselves the 2-0 sweep. They are done for the day, actually. They just had the one matchup to play. We will be seeing more, however, from the Cut. They now have a second series coming up here against Ego Boys. So that one is not quite ready to get underway just yet. We are going to be giving the Cut a little bit of a break in between those best of twos. So that is going to be the next matchup coming up, though. We'll see if the Cut can put this loss out of their mind, try to recover enough to at least get some points on the board in that second matchup. So we'll be taking a short break, but when we return, it'll be the Cut versus Ego Boys for our second best of two.